Joining us now is ABC News executive editorial producer John Santucci. Thank you for being here. There's a lot to talk about. As we know, Trump is set to go speak in less than an hour, so let's get right into it.
Sure.
Right after court happened, he went into campaign mode, fundraising. What has it looked like for the last 12 hours for Trump?
Well, fundraising at the website actually crashed moments after they sent out a fundraising email, Pedro, which is actually remarkable. It hasn't happened for any of Donald Trump's campaigns. We talk about how Republicans and Democrats are going to capitalize on this. We know that for every indictment that happened last year, Donald Trump's method was the same. Indictment gets announced, statement calling it a witch hunt, email blast for fundraising. Now, last night in New York, where everybody would think after a bad day like that, maybe you're actually going to stay home and take it in. No, Donald Trump hit the town. He went to the Upper East Side, actually did a fundraiser here in New York. Happened to be pre-planned, but timing is everything. Now, what I think, though, is going to be hard for Donald Trump is the pivot, right? Because think about it. The last 7 weeks, he's been stuck in this courtroom. So they've got to find a way to turn this campaign really back on and move out of the courtroom, really. Because think about it. This entire campaign has been about the courtroom. This, at the moment, appears to be the only trial we're going to see before the November election. So how do you get that narrative back turned to really try to pull voters in? That's going to be the challenge.
Right. So he has a lot of lost time to make up for, especially according to him. So what can we expect? It's in about an hour that he will be coming down those golden escalators. What's he going to say? You
know, I'm not a Trump impersonator outside of what Josh was looking at earlier, but I can tell you if I'm not going to do the voice, we're going to hear rigged, we're going to hear stolen election again, we're going to hear witch hunt, we're going to hear these guys were out to get me, what did you expect in Manhattan? And look, a little bit of that is to be expected from Donald Trump. I mean, it is very copy and paste, as he's done for the last year, that these have started to become really the focus of his, political life. But I know from talking to several aides around him, Charlene, they need to get him focused on a VP, get him focused on the RNC. The debates are coming sooner than we can imagine. The first one's in just a couple of weeks, the other one in the fall here on ABC. So they know that they need to find a way to turn the page, but it's going to be difficult for him for sure.
Well, it's going to be difficult thinking about a VP and everything and the RNC convention when you have a July sentencing that's coming up. That's certainly going to be on his mind. And when we look at it,
well, let's be clear. It's a July sentencing 4 days before the Republican convention starts. The timing is unbelievable. I mean, we talk about this collision course, Pedro and Charlene, of this calendar. It's remarkable to think this is all happening so on top of each other. I mean, and also, guys, we're not done with cases. Even before that, we're waiting on the Supreme Court to rule on that special counsel case, right? The efforts to overturn the 2020 election on a federal level. So it's all going to be very difficult for him.
Really quickly before we go, but what comes sentencing day? Do you see Donald Trump spending any time at Rikers?
I don't. I really don't think. Listen, this is a Class E felony. He's a first-time offender. He's also Donald Trump. I mean, like, that's a really difficult thing to do. He's got Secret Service. They're always around him. I think it'll be a fine, community service. Wouldn't that be remarkable? I mean,
that'll be interesting to see.
We've seen a lot of strange things this year, haven't we? So
we most certainly have.